Joe, thank you so much for chatting to us today. Great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
No worries. Now 3 months in to your time, or into the season, I guess. How would you describe the season so far?
So far, I'd say it's a bit up and down. I don't think we've found our best as a team, but there's definitely been a lot of patches where we've been unplayable, we've been great, which is what I expected from us from pre-season. So it's definitely up and down. I think, look, we're fourth on the ladder. The top teams have sort of got away from us a bit, but you know, if I win a couple more wins and you know the results go our way, we'll bridge that gap, and still a long way to go.
Yeah. Obviously, a new player coming in the off season. How was the fitting in process? Obviously, joining a new club, obviously new challenges. How was the fitting in process?
Yeah, I think the boys were quite welcoming. I knew a few faces, which made it a lot easier coming in, and you know then they looked after me straight away in terms of being a new player. But it's a very young team as well, so it was I can't complain. Like, I really enjoyed it. The boys welcomed me, and Green Gully's a big club, so it's a great club to be a part of.
Signing in October, I think you came across the club. Does it help? Getting it sorted early, the ability to just kind of get into it straight away?
Yeah, absolutely. I was at Altona Magic last year, and we obviously won the league there, and I was captain there. So it was hard to get out of there, but Arthur called me after our season finished, and we met up for coffee, and I seen the direction the team was heading and what he wanted to, and to get it sorted straight away and just know where you're going to be was definitely made a big difference. It just set my mind to pre-season, and yeah, it was definitely.
What's been the highlight of the season so far for you?
The highlight of the season so far, I'd say, from a team point of view, I'd probably say our performance against Melbourne Knights. We really dominated the game from start to finish and showed what we're capable of as a team. But there has been, from a team point of view, again, a lot of highlights in games. I think every game there's been patches where you've seen how good we are as a team. But for me, it's just trying to string that together for the whole 90 minutes of the game.
One of the strengths I think you've brought to the team has been your versatility, your ability to play both in defence and in the middle of the park. So, how do you deal with that as a player? Is that a kind of challenging thing to be able to pull off?
To be honest, I'd say I'm obviously a defensive player. So whether it's being in that number 6 role where Arthur used me a lot in the start of the season, or in that centre back role where he's used me most recently, I just adjust. Like, Arthur always lets me know quite early on in the week what he's thinking for next week and where I'm going to be, whether it is defensive midfield, centre back, and I'm just happy to work on it during the week and adjust and do a job for him wherever he puts me.
You've been around a few clubs in your time in Victorian football. How does the environment compare between Gully, where you're at now, and to other clubs you may have played at in the past?
Green Gully is definitely probably the most professionally run club I've been at.
Yep.
Just the way they do things and the way I think what Arthur's introduced there in terms of everything, the way we get treated. Like, we've got our supplements for games, we've got our video reviews, we can go back, watch the game. It's definitely very professional. Like a lot of other clubs, like I was at Hume for 3 years and they did get a lot more professional as well, but for me, I just really like the environment at Green Gully and the way it's run.
So you've been around Victorian football for a while now, and there's been obviously a lot of changes in that time. So as a player, what's been the biggest change for you that you've seen throughout your time in Victorian football?
I think that's a good question. I think just the quality's got a lot better. The professionalism of the league, just as a whole, has got a lot better. Like, if you look at all the clubs, they're trying their best to be as professional as they can. And to be honest, like, being my brother has been around a lot of professional environments, obviously being a professional player, and even he comes down and trains with us sometimes, and he's surprised by, for example, the quality of the change rooms in the NPL. Would train with us at Hume and we had our lockers, and that same thing at Green Gully now. We've got our lockers, and just the professionalism of the league, I'd say, has changed. Even the referees now have even introduced the 4th official. So it's definitely a lot more professional than it was in the past.
Obviously, your brother Ivan, who's found success in Australian football, has had all that time. I mean, I noticed family's has been a big part of your career. I mean, how big an influence have they had throughout your time as a footballer?
Yeah, really big influence. For starters, my parents are at every single game. Unless my brother's playing, and they choose his game if he's playing in Melbourne that weekend. But yeah, I'm married, and my wife, she doesn't miss one of my games, so she's big. But the biggest influence is definitely my brother. Like, a lot of people didn't know, when I was actually 16, I quit soccer, or 15, I quit soccer, and I took on golf for 3 years, and I was going through a process where I was about to turn pro in golf. And then my brother was 22 and I was 18, and he got a professional contract at Brisbane Roar for the first time, and then I was like, I want to play soccer again. So that's when I went to Melbourne Knights after 3 years off, and Ivan Giselle was the coach at the time, and I was lucky enough to get a senior contract in my first year, and sort of played a lot through resis, but sort of got pushed into the seniors over the course of the season, and I think it just all started from the influence of seeing my brother, what he's done, and being in that team environment again.
Yeah, I mean, that's very much a sliding doors moment. Obviously, playing away from football, and then coming back into football again after 3 years off. I mean, do you think back and wonder what it may have been like had you not taken on football?
I do. I think about it. I think of it both. I think, what happens if I continued playing golf, or what happens if I didn't play golf and I continued playing football? Would have I got that opportunity to make that next step when I was younger? I'm sure my game would have been a lot more fine-tuned, and obviously taking 3 years off, there's a lot of rustiness when you come back and you're still at that junior level, but you're sort of expected to step in that senior environment that you've never been a part of, and it was quite daunting, but I was grateful for the opportunity, and it was just good to get back involved in the game.
I mean, it must have been good to feel that kind of fire again, right? But it's also, do you also feel there was a time that there was a desire to make up for lost time a little bit? 3 years, as you say, is a long time out. So does that make you feel that there's a lot of ground to make up, but it just makes you even better as a footballer in that sense?
Yeah, definitely there was. But at the same time, there was a lot more hunger. Being out of the game for so long, when I did get the opportunity to come back into the game, I was really just hungry for training every single week, doing stuff off the field. I was a lot, my physical presence wasn't as big, so I was hitting the gym regularly in the off season to try and get my body up to standard and do what I can do to play at that top Victorian level, which I was able to do.
Arthur Pappas, the head coach of the club, what's it been like working under him in these last few months?
It's been great. I can't fault Arthur for anything. We had a chat before I signed, and he told me what he wanted from me and what direction the club's going, and then I came, and he's been massive for me. Like, it's always an open door if there's something I'm unsure about in terms of the way we're playing, or if it's just a general conversation. He's very approachable, which is good. Very important to have a coach that can do that. And like a lot of people say to me, there's players playing in the NPL that are sort of too good to be in the NPL. They should have that next step. And from what I've seen from Arthur and playing under him, I think he's too good of a coach for the NPL level. Like, I think he should be in a professional environment, the quality and his knowledge of the game from what he brings. Yeah.